I'm sorry, the house is such a mess right now. It's so embarrassing. Do you ever find yourself apologizing for your home when you have people come round? As an architect, I've been to hundreds of my clients' homes and I've heard this kind of phrase very many times. I've even said it myself. So, in this video, I'm going to share with you my experiences of being embarrassed by my home, and I'm going to give you some advice to help you overcome this. So first of all, what inspired me to make this video was that I worked with a client just last week and he told me that he was embarrassed by his home. He said he wanted to have his girlfriend and his daughter and grandchildren over more often, but he's so embarrassed that he doesn't like to invite them round. He wasn't as embarrassed to work with me, perhaps because I didn't go to his house. I work with my clients remotely, so he could curate his photographs that he sent me and he was comfortable for me to see that. And obviously I was there to be helping him. So that's what my role is, to help overcome those embarrassments and to really help you make your home more pleasurable and enjoyable. So this is in my experience of like visiting other homes. I've seen a lot. I've seen a lot. And the thing is, from my perspective, I am looking for the potential. So whatever condition and situation a home is in right now, in face that surface level, and there's a deeper level of potential that comes from the structure of the building, the spaces themselves, the configuration of those spaces. And I've seen a lot of different conditions of property. I've been to property that was previously brothels. I've been to derelict buildings like full of pigeon poo. I've been in homes where some of the rooms are so full that I couldn't actually get in past opening the door to be able to measure up properly. So I've just been able to use my laser measure to get the overall room size, and that's all I could manage. So I've seen a lot of homes in a lot of different conditions, and I completely get that, you may well feel a bit embarrassed by the way your home is, but believe me, I've seen worse. So there's probably nothing really you could show me that I've not seen before or seen in a much more extreme version of that. Another thing that inspired me was that a new friend of mine and I had tentatively arranged for me to go over and hang out, but she's not had a lot of energy over the summer and she has some chronic health conditions. And so in the end, she felt too embarrassed to have me over to her home. So we didn't end up meeting up. And I understand this sort of reluctance or potential embarrassment, particularly over an architect, because I've had people say to me, but you're an architect, so your home must be amazing, super designer, beautiful. And the truth is, my home is an ordinary 3-bed semi. Yes, I have structured it in a way that works really well for me. Yes, I have designed it, so in a way it's designer, but it's an ordinary house. It's a home just like yours, a house that I live in with my family. And it's a day-to-day house. There are messes, there are things to sort out. I bought it as a work in progress, project home. It had a lot of let's just say TLC as a minimum that needed to be done to it. So it's a work in progress. So there are times when I feel embarrassed about my home because, particularly as an architect, I know that other people expect me to have this perfect home, and I don't have a perfect home. I have an ordinary home that we live in that gets messy and dirty just like everybody else's. So I understand how it can feel nerve-wracking, perhaps, if you feel like somebody's coming around and going to judge you. And I know that so for my friends, perhaps they do have some reason to be worried, because the way that I approach, I'm always looking around me at space, and I'm always critically assessing and analyzing the space around me. But what I'm also always doing is looking for ways to improve and tweak space. And often I do go to friends and I do suggest, making a rearrangement of some furniture. But I never force it on my friends and family. But I do often go in and say, "Oh, have you thought about moving the sofa?" And these sorts of tweaks and arrangements you can make to your space and can make all the difference. So once I had a friend, and I went round to his house for the first time, and he had a big open plan kitchen diner, and I was just said, "Please, would you let me rearrange the furniture? Would you be happy for me to do that?" Because it was such an awkward, uncomfortable kind of space, the way that the furniture was laid out. And he said, "Yeah, sure, okay." And so I rearranged the entire room, and he was kind of shocked about how big a difference just rearranging the furniture made. And as a result, he then I set up this sort of L-shaped seating area for him, and he then went out and bought himself a new huge L-shaped sofa to fit better into that space. And his space now works so much better. He regularly entertains friends over at his house. It's just a much more comfortable, more enjoyable space to be. So it's much better for him living there, but it's also much better for him as a host. He's a very sociable guy. He likes to have people around, and it's a much better space for him to be able to do that. So these feelings of embarrassment or discomfort can come from very, very easily fixed rearrangements of space, or just a little bit of a clear out can make a huge difference. But when I was growing up, I was often embarrassed by my home, because where I grew up was this beautiful big Victorian villa. It was an amazing house, but my parents bought it. It was bedsits, so it was quite grotty bedsits, and it took them many years to gradually rip out all these like horrible little kitchenette bits that were in some of the bigger rooms. Apologies for that. And to decorate and to turn it from this collection of random little grotty bedsits into a family home took my parents some time. And in the meantime, as I was growing up, it felt very uncomfortable for me to invite friends around. I would go to my friends' homes, and I'd see, they had these, quite similar homes to what I live in now, like 3-bed semis, quite comfortable, clean, organized, nice spaces to be in. Whereas my home, yes, it was impressive in its scale. It was a big house, but it was full of spiders. It was very dusty, quite gloomy in some areas, and it was very cold in the winter. It wasn't very comfortable. So there was a lot of things about it that were, I felt embarrassed by it. And also, because it was such a big home, we had space, so we didn't feel the need to kind of clear out and reduce the amount of stuff. So we had a lot of stuff, a lot of mess in some rooms. So it was really, I felt embarrassed by the home. And now I'm grown up and an architect, and I also at times feel similar embarrassment, because I do have an ordinary home. It's not a fancy designer home. So these feelings, I can completely relate to that. And there is a Turkish saying, once a home is finished, death moves in. And I think that's really interesting saying, because it's like, life is always changing. Your home is always going to be adapting to that change. So, you may feel like there's some changes that need to happen. You're still not quite comfortable. All of those things can happen with time. You can just gradually make tweaks, adjustments, improvements to your home as and when you can. Now, my mum's advice to me when I was a child and I was embarrassed about how our home was and didn't feel comfortable inviting friends around, And her advice to me was, look, people who love you, people who are your friends, who are really your friends, they are coming to see you. They're not coming to see what the house looks like. That's not the important thing. You're the important thing in your home. So please don't let your embarrassment or discomfort about your house become a barrier to your relationships with other people. That is far more important. And if they really care about you, if they really love you, they will overlook that, and because they are there for you, not there to be wowed by your home. And so what I would advise you to do is to make small changes, a bit of clearing things out, a bit of cleaning, rearranging the furniture. Those activities can make a huge difference. Of course, you can do the big extensions and all of these things, and they can make a big difference, obviously, as well. But it's amazing how much a bit of a clear out and a rearrangement of the furniture can really make to your space. So although your home may in some ways be a reflection of you and who you are, if things are chaotic and that is a reflection of you internally, then that is you can, by starting to work on the space around you, that can actually have a positive impact on you and how you feel about yourself and your personal situation, your emotional situation, your mental situation as well. So having that making those tweaks externally can then reflect positively back on you and help you feel better about yourself. I want you to remember to look beyond that surface level and see the potential of your space, and think about what small steps can you take to reach the potential that you see and that you dream of. And remember that, it's about expectations, and if others have this expectation of you, well, that's for them to deal with. You don't have to take on their expectations. I know that people expect me to have this perfect home as an architect, and I have a lovely home. It works, and there is more to do, and there is more I dream of doing to my home, and it will happen. And all things happen in good time. So don't allow yourself to be affected by other people's expectations of you. I know that's easier said than done, and I really struggle with that myself at times as well. But it is true. It does help you to just focus on what it is that you need and what it is that you want, and surround yourself with people who care about you and are not judging you for the way your home is. To help you create that vision for your home and how you want to live in it and how you see it, so that you can enjoy living with more ease and more pleasure, then you can get my free Design Your Home Vision checklist. So if you see the comments for the link to that, then you can get that download. It will help you start to think through, well, what could you do to your home to improve it, to help you to enjoy it more, to help you get more out of it. And that's what it's all about. Your home is there to support you and help you to live the life that you want to live. And if it's not doing that, then you can take steps to improve it and make that change. Yes, it's maybe some kind of reflection of you in some ways, but you can make that a positive reflection of you. And by improving the space around you, you can have that positive impact on yourself and how you feel about yourself and about your place in the world. I hope this has been interesting, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon. Bye for now.